Cage, 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 peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please. Greetings and salutations. This is Cage's Kiss, the ultimate Cage cast, where we discuss each of the National Treasure's cinematic masterpieces and his life. We also try to glean any kernels of wisdom we can from his character that week. I am Donnie, a.k.a. the boy who blew.
I am Linda, a.k.a. Brie, because I couldn't think of another Canadian cheese, so I just went French.
What?
I'm Adrian, and let's all have some crullers, eh?
And
today,
note.
you can call us the real Grease Bum Boys.
It's fitting. So, if we're going to get in the spirit of things...
Well, you get in the spirit of things.
Greetings, Cage fans. Prepare to grease your asses and glide on into this week's episode, where we discuss the noble sport of bootlegging, betrayal, and forcing your affections on others, and violent mood swings that would put Tommy Wiseau to shame. It's immoral, whimsical, sinful, and beyond redemption. Thank you, Canada.
Thank you, Canada.
All right.
Oh, Canada, land of Bryan Adams.
Yeah, I'm going to throw out there, I will not say anything negative about the Canadians, so
There's nothing
I'm sorry.
negative to say about the Canadians.
You know, they're fine.
Bryan Adams, you just say
I
it.
got some friends up there who are really cool, and Bryan Adams.
I enjoy
and
your
Corey Hart.
poutine.
Yeah, and poutine, yeah.
And Timmy Hosh.
Sure.
And like all kinds of random people who you don't know are Canadians. They're like covert Canadians. You're like, holy shit, the whole time.
Yeah.
I want to be a Canadian.
I want to do anything else but watch this again.
Well, how many times did you go through it? I think I gave it 3 sits, 3.5. It was kind of hard to do all at once. I'll admit that right now.
One viewing, and I will discuss why after we do our little spiels.
Because you had to set the disc on fire afterwards.
Put it in a circle of salt.
Why don't I start dumping factoids on this thing to give people a picture of this 19th century Canadian sculling epic?
Can you tell us about it?
All right, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it here. Okay, so this thing was actually in production during 84, but not released until 86. I can't imagine why. From August of October to 84. I'm just assuming it was shelved because it is bad. It was actually not televised anywhere until 11 years later, and that was in Sweden.
Wow.
Home of our people.
It was released in porn.
And porn.
It came out in U.S. and Canada the same day. I think that was January 17th of 1986. And that was the same day that Clan of the Cave Bear was released, as well as the original Iron Eagle and Troll 1.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
So, as you can see, you'd go to the theater and you'd pretty much watch anything but The Boy in Blue.
Yeah.
You know, unless you had like a terrible girlfriend or you weren't very discerning or you'd already seen the other 3 movies somehow in the same day.
True.
So Ned Hanlan, Nicolas Cage's character in this movie, the sculling champion of the 1880s. He was a real guy. He was 5 foot 8 inches tall and weighed 150 pounds. At least that was his racing weight. I guess he weighed more, and then he did a massive training montage every time before.
Well, obviously, with old man Crothers.
Right. He died in his 50s of pneumonia. And at his funeral in Toronto, there was a crowd of 10,000 people. Apparently, they liked him pretty well.
Apparently.
And he had 8 children.
What the hell?
Damn.
Yeah.
That's why he died in his 50s.
Did he have to grease his ass for that, too?
No, he used the sliding seat.
Oh, God.
I don't know what the big deal is. My stool slide.
Bully!
So among the co-stars on this movie, everybody, of course, recognized Christopher Plummer. And there's also his sidekick, David Naughton, who was, of course, an American Werewolf in London for John Landis.
Yay.
And before that, his big splash was being the guy in the Dr. Pepper ad.
Oh, yeah.
He's a pepper, she's a pepper. David Naughton also is a pepper. This is one of two 1986 Canadian releases for Mr. Naughton. The other one is a terrible comedy called Separate Vacations, which I own on VHS because Linda helped me fish it out of a dumpster with like 100 other movies.
On my birthday.
On your birthday. I gave you the best birthday of your life with that.
Hey, I got the Police Academy 4 animated movie. So, I mean, like,
it's probably better than the actual Police Academy 4.
I'd like to apologize for my sister for that.
What?
Today's movie was directed by Charles Jarrett. Charles Jarrett's career is a rocky affair. It started off strong enough in the late 60s. He made the Richard Burton epic Anne of the Thousand Days about Henry VIII and such. And he made Mary Queen of Scots. But then later he did the musical remake of Lost Horizon, which is hailed as one of the worst movies ever by those who remember that it exists. And in 1980, he did Disney's Condor Man.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody who's seen it knows what a mess that was.
Yeah.
It's like, I know, let's cash in on the superhero fad and the Inspector Clouseau movies as well, and maybe the Roger Moore James Bond movies. Oh, we don't know what we're doing. The end.
Yeah, it was no Puma Man.
It was that's true. Puma Man had more man stuff in it.
Which I think he also directed a movie called, was it the Male of the Species?
I think so. His career seemed to have a lot of TV in it, so I didn't look through it too carefully. I'm just naming the ones that I've seen.
Oh, okay, because it had a lot of people in it, like including Sean Connery. Male of the Species. Yeah, it's a TV movie.
When's that from? Is it a 70s TV movie or?
Let's see. It had Michael Caine and Sean Connery and Laurence Olivier.
You can't have both. That would just be too awesome.
I thought you were about to say they're the same person.
wait, it had Caine and Olivier reunited from Sleuth?
You got it.
Which is, I'm talking about the 1972 Sleuth, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that crap one. I mean, what's his name? Jude Law, I mean, he's hot stuff and all that, and it was cute to have that gay come on, but that's a terrible movie. The remake.
Yeah, Jude Law. You lost me once you said Jude Law.
You got lost in his eyes.
Yeah. Eyes.
So,
and out his Dumbledore.
Today's movie, which is The Boy in Blue, by the way, it sounded really bad. One of the reasons for this is that the music was composed by Roger Webb. I don't know too much about Webb. I hadn't seen most of his films. However, he did do the score for Golan Globus's little-known The Omen knockoff, The Godsend.
Oh.
For the most part, he did music arranging work and conducting for television music stuff.
Did you guys notice that there were some parts, like especially in montages, that the music in the background sounded like the Lumberjack song?
Just a bit.
It was like a
Love
dramatic
to press
version.
wildflowers.
It's like
Well, apart from the music being bad, the entire soundtrack is flanged. I think there was a mistake somewhere in the editing room. It's either the editing room or the transfer. Did we all? Wait, okay, so Donnie, did you have the same edition DVD as we had?
No, I don't believe so. Because when Linda was mentioning a lot of audio issues, mine was flawless. There was no issues.
So it didn't have that tinny echo sound. It didn't sound flanged.
No, and I'm guessing that's
okay.
Because
So maybe
I
that's just
paid
the bad transfer.
$30 for this.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, when the one I ordered finally comes in the mail, I'll find out if that's any better.
Well, there's this one scene like where the main female character and Nick Cage's character are talking, and you could hear every time she turns to him, it's like shh, blah 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 blah, shh, blah 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 blah. Shh. It's really bad, but which is funny because Don White, David Appleby, and Dan Latour were apparently nominated for a Genie Award for Best Achievement in Sound Editing
for this film.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that sound, the extra noise there, like of her turning and all that. I mean, like that's probably since they were shooting in historical locations, you know, with all the hardwood, it's echoey. They probably didn't use anything to deaden it, you know. Yeah. The movie looked like shit though, and it was shot by Pierre Minot. Dude did a lot of French titled movies because like, he's from Quebec and stuff. But he did shoot one American movie that some people may have seen. He was the cinematographer on The Sixth Day.
Oh.
With Schwarzenegger, which is also terrible. So it's fine.
Incredibly so.
Yeah, it's like, you know. Hey, you guys, let's combine Eraser and End of Days.
What? A bad Schwarzenegger film?
It's impossible. Collateral Damage was the best movie ever. That's my movie producer voice.
Good job.
Bravo.
Yeah. I'm giving you the polite clap.
Making movies.
Well, yeah, I'd say you definitely shouldn't try to get the film because I think we drove up the
it's hard to get.
Yeah, we got the cheapest copies there were. Even on eBay, this thing is phenomenal, the cost.
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's
Do you
too much.
think there's somebody out there who's just like insane for like sculling movies and they just pay it?
Sculling,
I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out because I don't want this movie in my possession anymore. So I'm going to try and sell it for $200 and see
In fact, the only other movie I can think of that had sculling in it was The Social Network, and that was just a little bit about those twin characters.
Right, yeah.
You know, like in England, you know. And that was group sculling. That wasn't one-man sculling like in this film.
That sounds like it should be porn. Group sculling. One of those types of porn that, like, once you watch it, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
Speaking of porn, yeah. So about the fact that this movie has a lot to giggle at, intentionally or otherwise. Well, with certain lines. And in fact, let me read off some lines from this movie out of context. Okay, so we have "Suck It, Sinner."
That was my favorite.
"Smooth like butter." "I'll be pissing down your back."
Come on, get to my favorite.
"My pissy pals don't do this to me." And "rubbed my backside raw."
You left out one of the best ones in the entire
damn it. Oh, no.
movie.
What'd I miss?
I'm much bigger with my clothes on.
Yes!
He like never wears a shirt in this movie for at least a good half of it.
Shirt.
He's man. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, no, he really Hulk Hogan's it. Yeah, he just rips the shirt off.
Living the dream of Nick Cage. I also enjoyed all the top oarsmen will be there. The real grease bum boys.
Speaking of greasing bums, are you done with your factoids, Adrian?
Yeah. From here on out, it's just me laughing at the movie.
Some facts about the movie that are quick and dirty.
Okay, yeah, dirtiest.
Okay.
Butter that bread.
So, as Adrian said, it's 1986. Director Charles Jarrett? I don't know.
I say Jarrett.
Sure, that one. It was written by Douglas Bowie, so we have him to thank. And the budget was estimated at $7.7 million Canadian, which I looked it up, and it converts back in 1986. It would convert to about 5.5 million American dollars, and it grossed $275,000 in the U.S.
Dun, dun.
Yeah. So
yeah, from what I read, Canadian audiences weren't so hot for it either because some people were a little upset that a famous Canadian hero was portrayed by an American actor.
Yeah, rightly so, I think.
Canada, we're sorry.
Yeah, we're also sorry.
Yeah, we're very sorry.
Yes.
Would you please
we'd
accept
like to
us?
apologize.
I want to be a Canadian so bad, you guys.
Well, you know, the border's right there. Hop on.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
You could be like Hart and tell everybody that you're from there.
Oh, is that what they do?
That was it. Well, when they got started, they toured in Canada a lot, and actually, in Canada, and Canada isn't the only place. I just know this to be true for Canada. They favor airplay for Canadian artists. Only a certain amount of like American and other foreign acts can be played on the radio stations there. So it was a career thing to tell Canadians that Hart was Canadian to get them airplay in that country.
Well, they're close, right? I mean, they're from Seattle, right?
Yeah, they're from somewhere around here. They're our neighbors and stuff. You know, we like borrow cups of sugar from them.
So, do we have no explanation from Cage as to why this movie was made?
Yeah. Does the book mention it at all?
No, but it did have a quote. First of all, I've got to apologize. Linda Dunn fucked up. I believe in.
Well, hold on. I would like to apologize for my sister.
God damn it. I spend my whole life apologizing for you. Anyway, I fucked up. I think it was in the Cotton Club. I said that he got his back tattoo. Obviously, that's if you watch the movie, it's obvious that it wasn't until after this movie.
Well, how do we know he doesn't just have makeup on it?
Because his
because you found out that wasn't true.
Yeah, because it's just not true.
Fake news.
He had
You lied to me.
I know. And goddamn it, Donnie, I'd like to take this time to apologize.
I'd like to apologize for my sister giving false information.
No apologies. Rick-a-dick-a-doo.
I'm gonna go ahead and tweet that now.
I will not be taking any questions at this time, as I would just like to focus on being with my family.
I do not immediately recall.
Anyway, after watching the movie, apparently Nick Cage said, quote, "When I saw that, I thought, well, I'm never going to take my shirt off again, or at least not like that. I wanted to get as far as I could from the beefcake image." And so that he did by getting...
Oh, this is the movie that did that. Okay, I was going to say, it's like, you know, based on the information earlier, I'm like, it's a little weird that he said he wasn't going to take his shirt off, and then his shirt's like off like all the time after that.
Well, I mean, every time his shirt did come off, that woman's panties did drop. I mean, you visibly see her going from hating him to just like sploosh.
And you could hear it in the audio.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he has been fit in everything we've seen him in, and he's been showing us that. But like, holy crap, he was ripped.
Yeah, goddamn.
Like, it was it's like y'all ripped up like Rambo, not the first Rambo, the second Rambo.
He had angry abs. Maybe that's why he really didn't like his shirt.
Like, holy crap! You know, no, they got the camera freaking like just sort of falling over, like, ah.
When I first saw the IMDb cover that's on there with him and his bandana wrapped around his head.
Oh yeah.
It made me wonder if it was just a Rambo ripoff, because I didn't know anything about the movie going into it.
They should have marketed it that way. They would have made more money if they just had like that awesome exaggerated painting of like shiny, like the shirtless like Cage like holding a broken off oar and going, yeah.
In a world of boats and poutine.
But I mean, it kind of may as well have been a Rocky ripoff.
We got like a collision of a couple of different types of movies here once again, where it's like you get the stuffy family friendly historical picture. You get the biopic, which is its own inferior genre, and you get the sports movie. On top of that, this movie
shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah?
Yes, because it's like watching this the first 20 or so minutes, it's so whimsical. It reminded me of like the old Disney movies from the 80s where
it is like a musical from 1969. Yeah, well, that's another reason I brought up the photographer there. It's like, why does every shot have a freaking white hot spotlight on the actors?
Not only that, it just had a very upbeat tone for everything. It's like, okay, I'm rowing out of my competition I just won. I'm rowing into a place with illegal booze, and I'm going to row away to go. Everywhere he was going, he was
and
rowing.
Everyone's wearing suspenders and boater hats.
It felt like it should be like the merry misadventures of Ned Hanlan.
They cut out the sex scenes. They could have had that.
Oh my god! See, that's just it. Even the first sex scene, all this reminded me of like movies like "It's a Mad, 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 Mad World." Where it's just so
it does. It looks like a '60s movie. It looks like a '60s period movie.
things happened, but there were no real consequences.
Yeah.
And even when he gets mad, he's like, he goes ballistic, over the top, cagey mad. And then it's like, oh, fuck it. I forgive you. We're just silly goofballs anyway.
And nobody
all's
broods
forgiven.
or ruminates on or on anything. They just in the next scene, it's like, okay, that was the part of his life where he had a hard time, but don't worry, folks. In this
fuck
next
me,
scene,
silly. That's also the thing that bugged me was when he tried out the old man's boat. It's like, okay, they're gonna have the funny, haha, it didn't work. He fell in the water,
right?
And then they're gonna fix the boat. He's gonna come out, and then they're all gonna be blown away when it works. But
it's not even
it's
a
like
setback.
The same day. It's like later on that evening.
Yeah. It's like dusk, and he's like, it's smooth like butter after all.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, it worked. Nobody gave a shit.
That was
but what
one
made
thing
me shocked.
sorry.
It's okay. It's what shocked me about the fucking movie was how whimsical it was. And then all of a sudden it's like, you have tits. It's like, what the shit is this doing in my fucking Passamaquoddy movie? The fuck? It's like, that's when it stopped being silly and started
Nicolas Cage belongs to us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it felt like it should have been a family movie. But then
they would have probably made more money if they just opted with that.
Yeah.
Like just make it an 80s PG.
But the thing is, like, with this movie, it's like they took a lot of liberties because they must have, because I couldn't find anything on Knox in real life. Christopher Plummer's villain.
He's probably
character.
a composite character. They do that a lot in biopics.
Well, I also couldn't find anything about him getting barred from racing in the U.S. for a lifetime, which is something that happened in the movie, and it was a big dramatic beat.
Yeah, I didn't see that on the wiki either. Yeah,
was that when
stupid
he
old
ran
U.S.
over his opponent?
Yeah, bastard.
Well, it said that
It's some epic collision in a boat the size of a pool cue.
Well, the research I did said that he did kind of have a short stint with bootlegging because he lived on on an island, and which ended up being called Hanlan Point, but not after him. It was named after his parents, who owned and ran a motel or a hotel on Hanlan Point, and
Holiday Inn.
Sure, no, it's a Holiday Inn, and
That's not you call it a motel, hotel,
holiday. I got okay, whatever.
It's one of those multicores,
I'd like to apologize for that.
for talking.
I beat you to it.
Damn it.
I apologize for myself.
and I apologize for both of them. But not for myself.
There's no excuse.
That's what is the beans. Hey, what?
But much like the Cotton Club, we have apparently Nick Cage playing somebody of Irish descent again. His parents were Ned Hanlan's parents were Irish, so I mean, obviously,
Naturally, yeah.
Well, he's still playing a guy that's chauvinistically pushing women around and an alcoholic.
Yes.
He's drinking in every
it's
movie
not-
he's been in.
It's not a big stretch from the other roles that we've seen. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's either playing an Italian American stereotype or some other Irish immigrant stereotype.
Well, and apparently in real life, from what I was able to find, he did bootleg liquor to the island where he lived, so he could sell alcohol to guests without a license. But that's all I was able to find on that,
Is that still technically bootlegging? That just sounds like a little bit of tomfoolery.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That just sounds like shady business. Like bootlegging, you think gangsters and from country to country and
right.
Yeah.
But not so much with him.
I honestly thought you were going to say that you found out in real life Nick Cage did early bootlegging. It's like, I believe it.
Yeah, he did it.
80s bootlegging, a.k.a. cocaine smuggling.
Yes, and that's why Coppola made Coppola wine, so that way his son, his nephew, would no longer be legally transporting alcohol.
And Nick said, "You just don't understand."
I gotta be me.
It's acting.
Doing the method, pull my teeth out.
But the real Ned Hanlan had to road to get to school, to visit friends, and do most things on the mainland. So apparently,
Maybe you just don't live on that island.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But in real life, he sounded like a real showboating asshole.
And I bet he skipped leg day too.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I don't know. It's weird because, like, as a politician, it sounds like he was a good, decent guy. But
as the end text crawl of the movie tells us after the freeze frame.
Well, apparently
Another thing to make us feel like this is a TV movie.
He fought, like, as an alderman. He fought for cleaner harbors, for bike lanes in the city, for a public pool, and for public libraries. So I mean, he sounded like a really awesome guy. But then in his races, apparently there were some people where some races where he would be he would just showboat and he'd
races.
Yeah, you guys, like, I'm on a muscle relaxer.
And you didn't share.
I actually need it. But
I'd like to apologize for my sister's
God damn
abuse
it,
of
I'll
these
take
pills.
off the Twitter where I'm apologizing for you.
Did
okay?
Ned
God
Hanlan
damn
have
it.
a sister?
God damn it. Anyway.
I feel like a movie about him having been that alderman guy and like having flashbacks to being a boat race dude would have been more like, more interesting instead of just like this linear biopic crap.
Can we have Lynch direct it?
What now?
Can we have Lynch
Yeah, but
direct
then we
it?
wouldn't have everyone fucking betraying him, and literally everyone betraying him.
Well, then maybe Tommy Wiseau
I'm
should have
tired
done
of this world.
It's like even the guy that saved him in the beginning fucking betrayed him, but then turned around and he's okay with this. He's like,
I'm gonna
"Yeah,
swim
set
out and
me
give
up,
you a
but we're
wrench."
good."
Why you betray me, Knox?
Here we go again.
Exactly. You take the two on the left.
There's only two of them. And then there's that Australian guy who he races against twice, Trickett, who looks like Matthew Lillard with a mustache glued on.
Yes.
If
And I don't remember the actor's name, but he only did 3 movies, so fuck him.
But apparently that was one of the guys where in real life, when he was racing against him, he kept stopping and like talking to people on some of the steamboats and waving to the crowd. And then he like faked collapsing. And then he saw him coming up and then he was like, oh, guess I better continue racing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that would have been nice to include in the movie.
Yeah.
As opposed to the part where he's drunk and like everybody else stops rowing too, and it's like, keep rowing, you loafers.
But you can't have him look even sort of kind of like a showboating asshole in the movie.
Was it just me, or did it seem like when he took Nick Cage to the little fair before the race that it really did seem like this is what cocaine is like, where he's just so giddy and happy waving a tiny American flag?
Oh, yeah.
Smiling at everything.
Dude, he's the worst.
Really
He
upset,
keeps doing
and
that
then
doofus
happy.
grin in this movie.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
he
Every time he
sees
smiles, like,
he sees the Calypso.
Dulcie! Dulcie! And then Dr. Pepper guy pops up and is like, hey, wait a minute, you're trying to ball my wife. When'd you two get married? Oh, wait, I introduced you, stupid fool.
I love that because in one of the first scenes, it shows him like simulating sex with the Dulcie character, and then he's like, oh wait,
Yeah, I wonder if he got
there's
any
this
action
other
for those
lady.
pajamas.
But then like he's like, oh wait, a new lady.
There's
she's
only
a
2 women in the
proper
world and she's the
lady.
other one.
Yeah, that was just so sudden too. He's like,
Yeah, well, no, everything is at a
Yeah.
freaking breakneck pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Now,
doesn't like
to be
talk
fair-
Dulcie. He doesn't like break up with her or anything.
Right.
All of a sudden, it's just like he just like ghosted her, and then
Now-
he sees her again, and he like hits on her, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm married to your manager now."
Right, yeah. No, I mean,
just,
like, which is dumb, but at least this thing at least isn't guilty of one sin that most biopics are guilty of. At least this movie, as bad as it is, focuses on just one aspect of the guy's life, just one part of his career, because most bad biopics, and most biopics are pretty bad, will try to take on the entire life, birth to death. Like they'll have little bits with another actor portraying them as a child with out with a beagle or something, and then like when he first takes an interest in bootlegging, and then later on it's like, I guess I can't race boats anymore. Retire, run for office.
I know.
They didn't try to bite off too much.
Into something new.
Yeah, they just took a manageable portion of his life and failed at that.
Yeah.
It just feels as rushed as they kind of did a lot of this. It reminded me of that scene in Ed Wood when Lobo, no, I can't call him Lobo, it's something else entirely. But when Tor Johnson hits the wall and the whole set shakes. And like, all right, great, film it, move on. It's like, but wait, the whole thing shook. It's like,
you gotta look at the big picture
every day. So this is a problem he has to deal with all the time.
We don't have a permit.
Yeah. It's like, Nick Cage just won. Let's move on to he lost. But what happens after? Who cares?
Well, I couldn't tell how much of this movie was like shitty acting and how much was just shitty dialogue.
Well, the dialogue's pretty shit.
Yeah.
Like they're making an extra special effort to get the dialogue to actually sound like 1880s. And not considering whether or not any of it will sound good.
Yeah. Well, that's actually go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say the shit like the line about, well, that doesn't butter the beans. We'll see whose beans get buttered. It's like you put it on bread, moron. What are you doing?
I know.
Like, you're not eating beans right.
Do you just fill a bowl with something and put a stick of butter in, no matter what it is? These Fruit Loops are great, but they need butter.
That did kind of feel like a 23 Skidoo moment.
She's foolish for me.
Oh, God.
But no, I was going to say that's something I actually looked up because some of my notes on this movie, it literally in this sequence is this a movie? Are we sure this is a movie? And was Disney behind this? And I went to look up reviews, and there were a lot of critical reviews that came out saying the exact same thing, that when they watched the movie, they didn't know if it was the acting was bad or just the script was so bad.
The actors had no way to overcome that
with it.
Yeah.
Because you had such a big cast of people, but they just seem so held back.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them all in other things, and we all know that they can deliver lines and shit, like actors, But like here, it's like, what the hell are they giving?
Yeah, I read a review that put it really well. I think it's from the New York Times, where they said that that Christopher Plummer was just there picking up a paycheck.
Yeah,
it's like well,
that's very reasonable.
Yeah,
that's incredibly reasonable.
That it did.
It really way to really put the shine on sculling and make it seem like this great, clean pre-baseball sport by showing it to be corrupt up the yin yang and all for gambling. By the way,
it was a noble sport of gentlemen.
It brings out something fine and clean in a man.
Yes.
Wow.
Makes you an upstanding American hero.
And much like many other 80s sports movies, it had a training montage.
It had a couple.
Yeah, it did.
It's like, what are you doing that thing with the ropes? We have rowing machines now, you moron.
Bit of film trivia questionnaire for you. Was it Rocky that was the first film that used the sports montage?
I don't know. Like, that sounds like something that might have even existed back during those 1940s wrestling epics.
I would be curious.
I don't think Rocky's the first. I don't know for sure. I don't watch a whole lot of sports movies when I can help it.
Yeah. Oh, something else, another trope this movie had that was really, really wonderful, I really appreciated, was his love interest. How she goes from just teasing, having no interest in him, which is still funny as hell to me, that when you go and a man tells you you stink and your instinct is to nuzzle lovingly his face into your man bosom and rub his ear sensually, that you drag a woman by her arm as she tells you to let her go and then ask her, hey, I got a carriage for two. I paid $3. Want to go for a ride? It's like, no.
That's a lot of money back now.
But it's funny that she comes to warn him. It's like, oh my God, don't race. They're going to fuck with your shit because I heard them laughing about it. All this shit's riding on the line.
You're still a stray dog I've seen kicked in the street, and this isn't sexual at all. How can I make that clear to you? Oh, wait, I'll give in right now for no reason.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like, hey, I'm trying to
Their
save
relationship
you here.
does not develop at all. It just happens.
No. Not only does it just happen, it literally gives you this whole idea that she's kind of frigid, doesn't know what she wants, and then as soon as she's with him in his room, it's like, I'm going to force a kiss on you. Whoa, look, whimsical boobs.
Compromise me again.
It's like, I know what it feels like to be compromised.
We also have no real conception of her relationship with her uncle Christopher Plummer. They just kind of have some vague scenes together.
Just there.
We don't know, like until he starts spouting off about their marriage, we don't know really how hard he objects. There's some like, well, I kind of threw my niece at him, but I don't know. It's like, oh, for $5,000, I'd throw my niece at anybody. Yeah, and I mean, niece is $5,000. Like, oh yeah, well, I feel something about that, but I'm out of lines and I don't care.
The depth of their relationship is, I hate you until I see you shirtless, and then I'm just gushing between my legs, and I hate you again, but she just needed some dick.
And that's
apparently all that
you
she needed to win her over.
Yes. Well, again, we have the Valley Girl moral here. It's like always never have clothes on and stay far away.
Which even then I did have to laugh at because it confused me even fucking further. You have a bare-breasted love scene. Then she's saying, oh, I want to do it again. And then it's, oh, no, here comes your dad. We got to hug.
Yeah, he got goofy. He pops up through the trap door. It's like, here? Now? Yes, Aaron, now.
Yeah.
I've seen a number of low-budget Canadian movies where Christopher Plummer just kind of pops up and like, cruising by for that check, Christopher Plummer. It's like, you know it.
Yeah. I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd be in your film. Pay me.
Hey, Christopher Plummer, we need a villain for Cracker Jack, a kind of skiing Die Hard knockoff. I'm your man.
I wish that would happen to me in real life. Like, Christopher Plummer would just show up.
Oh.
Yeah, you might get a knock on your door later.
Like, this house isn't going to grease itself.
I was greasing my ass on my way over, and I wanted to apologize to you.
Hello.
He was in that terrible movie Eyewitness with Sigourney Weaver and William Hurt and James Woods. You ever see that one?
No.
This is not a recommendation. No, it's weird, right? It's for all you out there who will never see this movie that Nicolas Cage is not in. It is a movie with some very well fleshed out characterizations and a complete throwaway plot, and at the end of the movie you forgot you watched it except for certain scenes.
That's how
like
I feel about most of the movies we've watched.
Yeah, since we're just following Cage, and like at this point in his career, choosing a good script wasn't as much of a thing. It seems like.
Yeah, Nick Cage gotta eat.
But this movie is very distinct. We should really, call attention to it if we haven't already. It's like this is only the second Cage starring role after Valley Girl.
Yeah.
Because everything else he has been like second lead or way down in the ranks, like in his uncle's movies.
Yeah.
That's true.
So like this,
coming into it.
This is his first starring role since '83, and it's really tragic that it's such a disaster.
Yeah, but he's got to butter those beans and he's got to grease that ass.
Yeah,
so he was doing it.
Dude invented that sliding seat. It's brilliant.
Yeah, he was okay. So Ned Hanlan was one of the first people to use the sliding seat in the what do you call it? A scullery boat? Fuck, I don't know.
You'd think you'd at least need some things on the end to keep the rollers from going off. Wouldn't that just go out from under you a little bit?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I've effed up on the rolling machine where I got my ass on the track and I'm like, my bony ass.
Well, even that, the movie just glossed over too, how everyone was mocking him for using this, but then again, nobody celebrated his actually making it work, but then suddenly everyone's fucking using the thing.
Yeah, the fact that the film's just a highlight reel really a lot suffers. A lot suffers in there. Like he goes back to Canada after his ban from sculling in America. And he's a hero, and it's like, didn't he only race like 2 times? What?
Yeah.
Wait. Time compression. Oh, that's what happened. Oh. It's like he came back 5 minutes later, still wanted by the law, but it's okay. Also, without the title cards, there's really no way in the movies to distinguish Canada from America from England. Because it all looks identical. Everybody dresses the same, speaks the same, the landscape looks the same, the climate and weather are identical, so they didn't go anywhere, did they?
So you mean like in David Cronenberg movies that New York City is actually Canada?
It looks exactly the same.
But what I loved
some
was
filmmakers are good at that, though. I mean, like to be fair, you know.
Yeah.
one thing I loved was in
Charles
the
Jarrett
beginning they established the time period. You know, it's the 1870s because you see an asshole on a penny farthing.
That's true.
Like one of those old penny farthing bikes, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, I see where we're at.
That kind of feels like that's where most of their money went, was just the beginning establishing shot. Because afterwards, it's just costumes.
But here's the thing, though. It's like that scene, and basically any time he's actually racing the boats, it's like we basically brought up how like there was no attempt at historical texture.
Yeah.
And also this movie came out in fucking 1986, which is like the height of 80s-isms in 80s atmospheric photography, where you get all that wonderful backlighting, you know, like you get soft focus things, and you get interesting colors, you know, you get an aesthetic, for the love of Christ. And this, and every single scene where they're just out on the water, it's like, oh, it's a nice day. We're going to just sort of indifferently shoot it. It's like, yeah, I'm sure this is how it went down. It's like, you want to try something there, maybe? Make this look a little bit different? Kind of like, haven't you guys watched Top Gun? Come on, make a movie, for the love of God.
Where the fuck is Kenny Loggins?
Right? Something, you know, like, God damn it.
Or
Just saying, the playing with the boys volleyball scene is better than this entire movie.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that phrase.
Well, even the volleyball scene played out, if they were just greasing their asses, would have been a very, very offensive scene. I apologize for that.
I'd like to apologize to Canada that the first Canadian film that we reviewed on this happens to be The Boy in Blue. You know, you don't like it, we don't like it, nobody likes it.
Yeah, the beer's not that bad, I guess, but whatever. I'm sorry, whiskey. Canada.
Don't you just hate it when you got a nice frothy tall boy and you're a journalist and you drink on it and you go, hey, that hits the spot. Hey, what? By the way, they're calling you The Boy in Blue, and then you pass out because it was spiked. Don't you just hate that?
I can't say that's ever happened. Yeah, it's like, did that guy die or what the fuck? They just don't care.
All right, which one of you is Hanlan? I am. He is. I'm gonna break your arm right. Oh!
Fucking
you can't do this on David Naughton.
Yeah. Yes.
And then his arm's in a sling for the next scene, but it got better.
What still bothers me is he only won one race, and suddenly you have people in a town giving you spiked beer, trying to kill you, and then
he doesn't even win the first one. He gets second place just to qualify.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like, was he really that intimidating? Maybe they're just anti-Canadian.
Which, you know, they could have put that in the movie maybe, and then there would have been themes.
Yeah,
but you know, like there's opportunities for all kinds of themes. Like he's from Canada and he goes to the States, or like he comes from, you know, being poor, and you know, like there's upper crust people conspiring against him. There's a brief mention of his education or lack thereof, but like it doesn't bear much fruit. The rich people say that he doesn't bathe, and we don't really. Yes. Now, is that accurate, or are they just being dicks like people were to the Rolling Stones for having long hair?
I'm guessing they're being dicks just because they also mentioned his poor education. It's like, even when he has his hearing, they're like, you're not an educated man. It's like,
yeah.
What the fuck does that have to do with this?
So I guess that's one attempted theme.
Yeah.
Didn't you notice, like, though, after after the race where he does poorly, where he passes out, they got him immediately back at bootlegging.
Yeah,
and it's like, so it's like, did you just like go right there and be like, oh well, or you know, did you think of doing something else, or consider racing more, or
yeah,
flashbacks might have been helpful there, or doing the whole thing as a flashback structure, or just something
a
little more concise.
I told Lucille it reminded me of like the old Elvis movies where it's like, oh, I'm just a poor boy washing tables, but I like playing on my guitar. It's like, no matter where the fuck he is, there it is, and boom, musical.
I'm just hanging around in Mexico, and I'm afraid of diving, but I gotta dive to prove I can, and I gotta win this race.
It's like that's what I was. Honestly, I don't think I want to ever say this again in my life, but A Knight's Tale is so much better than this movie for telling the same story.
I thought we were at our face-off already, and that this should have been an Elvis movie.
Yeah.
Would have had a better soundtrack.
It would have, and it would have been fun having him dance to Golden Years.
Canada.
So, my epic cast for this film, and it is rather epic, was in the part of Bill, you have Al Pacino. For Ned, you have Christopher Walken.
Holy shit.
For Riley, you'd have Robert De Niro. For Knox, a fancy Michael Douglas.
Fancy.
For Dulce, you have Vanity. And for Margaret, we have Deborah Winger. They were all at the top of their game back then. They could have pulled this off, and Vanity would have been fun to have seen it.
You know, when I saw Maggie there, I kind of felt like, oh, she's kind of one of them types, you know, like a little bit like a Sean Young or a Deborah Winger, maybe, you know.
There you go.
Except, you know, she's a Canadian actress. I don't remember her name. She did fun for herself.
She did Canadian well. I'm apologizing to Canada.
I'd like to take this time to
that must have been very difficult. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
That's
sorry.
Cynthia Dale. Cynthia Dale. She was also in Moonstruck. In holy shit!
Oh.
She was in the original My Buddy Valentine, which is actually one of my favorite slasher movies.
Yeah, I saw that. Wait, did you say that she was on Moonstruck?
Yeah.
Oh, which we will be getting to eventually.
Yeah.
God help us all.
God help us all. You know, I'm going to say Madeline Kahn.
87.
Yeah.
Just cause. Or, you know, it could have been better if they, as a director, it was Lynch. Or I'm going to even say Michael Bay on this one, because at least we'd get some explosions.
Wow.
I was thinking Adrian Lyne to give it that really nice 80s look.
Excellent, excellent.
Or, you know, Tony Scott, you know, make it like Days of Thunder.
Jesus.
Oh.
Fucking Days of Thunder all the way.
That would have been amazing.
Let me out of the car, Cole. Let me out of the car. Say what you will, it's still better than Far and Away.
Oh,
it is far and away better than Far and Away.
I'm Irish, to be sure.
Boxer. Tiny little boxing man.
I don't want to fight you.
I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to hit you. I'm going to hit you.
Oh, you clever Scientologist.
We can do that accent, right? We're all Irish American. It's not that offensive.
Sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a dirty Pole. You know.
I'd like to apologize for Adrian.
I would also like to apologize for Adrian.
You'd like to, but
legally we're not allowed to.
I have been advised.
So, what do you guys feel like? What kernels of wisdom do you think we could glean from?
Oh, what more like what steaming nuggets of wisdom from this week's movie?
Well,
Fair enough.
So, you know, maybe just hear me out here. Maybe if you have a slump in your newfound sporting career, don't immediately go back to bootlegging.
yeah.
Just
give it some time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe, I guess maybe we're all bigger with our clothes off.
Well, you know, black is slimming.
Yeah. Which is fine, but he wears baby blue. Don't call it's not.
Yeah, well, this is why I'm bigger with my clothes off. They say, behold that sleek black thing, you know, and then a wind blows it up. They're like, the great white whale! I've hurt the eyes. And 'tis stretch marks I be seeing. I be blind in the other eye, surely.
I'd say that the little kernels of wisdom we can find from his character, Ned Hanlan, is to always carry a spanner, and when in doubt or when insulted, rip off your shirt.
Yeah, where is your shirt?
Where the hell is your
on
shirt?
a t-shirt.
Where the hell is your shirt?
Oh,
Shouldn't he have had a pit crew to carry the boat out for him? Why is he carrying it on his own head? Freaking fly-by-night small time. Pit crew! Should have been pulling in the dock to, like, change the tires on stuff like that. They would have found that loose bolt right there, too, right away.
Which still kind of gets
me. He was doing it wrong.
When the person that betrays you is in your little boathouse with your boat, and he's just there because I would kind of question the integrity of your boat.
And essentially says, like, oh, by the way, you're going to lose. I mean, I'm going to slightly veil it, but, don't feel bad. You're going to lose.
Yeah. But he did feel sorry.
he did. Yeah.
He did. Like, oh, damn it, we won, but now I got to get out of my boat to help you because I want you to win.
Poor David Naughton. He did this, and then he did separate vacations. So, like, it's Sunday, everybody. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
And then he did that piece of crap, the sleeping car. Did you ever see that from, like, 91?
No, but I will say that when Linda was asking us our thoughts on this, on Wisdom, I actually thought you were going to say, so what do you guys want to do now? I was like, let's dance.
That's what I was saying. So what?
We're all going to get laid.
Dance the night away.
Well, if we're all going to get laid,
Come
we need
on,
to get in our rowboats.
baby. Rowboat, that's the name of the puppy I just got from my sweaty, sometimes boyfriend.
Sometimes sweaty, always shirtless boyfriend.
And I will thank you right now for not bringing it up, though I guess I'm going to be bringing it up now because you kept talking about peeing in the last episode. The fact that when she sees Nick Cage working out shirtless and sweaty, you have cage bulge.
I didn't even notice that. Why did you notice that?
Because I had a
should have been
disc.
backlit.
I had a disc that had widescreen or full screen, and this went full screen because I didn't give a shit to change the disc, and it was kind of in
You
your
see,
face.
like I didn't think of him that way, and I couldn't look at him because in the
If they'd released it just a couple years earlier, they could have capitalized on the 80s 3D craze. We could have got 3D cage
Oh,
bulge.
please no.
it's not in 3D, but your face is.
What your face is.
No, I can't look at him that way because whenever I think of Nick Cage, I think of him as my favorite
animal?
Nick Cage character, Hi McDonough from Raising Arizona.
Well, that's true.
I can't. I don't know. It feels oogie when I think of him like with a bulge.
What feels...
we're about to get out of the oogie stage of his career here. I mean, because coming up, we got Peggy Sue Got Married, and we got Raising Arizona, and we got Moonstruck.
Yeah.
We're coming out of the tunnel. This is just the darkness before the dawn.
Well, speaking of being oogie and coming out of the tunnel, I'd like to end this with what I believe is the Cage curse and why I don't recommend people doing what we're doing. Because again, we're doing this for your safety. Is I received in the mail today a album I ordered for the new Suspiria remake soundtrack. And for some unknown fucking reason, they decided to send along with this a copy of Valley Girl. I was going to get rid of the copy I had of Valley Girl, and I now received another copy. This makes me feel that Cage is either watching us and aware of us, or he's a sentient spirit that is just controlling these things. And it's like, I want to destroy this film. He's like, give my movie another chance. No, I don't want to give it another chance.
For sure. Like, totally.
Yeah. Then again, if he is doing this, I would like him to please give me my money back because, god damn, these people with these movies selling them on eBay, you are unreasonable and you should be ashamed, you sinners.
Yeah, they're now like a couple $100, aren't they?
Yeah. There's a copy of The Boy in Blue.
Those sinners.
Yeah.
There's a copy of The Boy in Blue that's $200 frickin' dollars.
What the hell?
And he did that.
Yes.
It didn't make $200 in the theater. How can they charge that?
I know.
It's a rarity. It's a hyper rarity. It's collectible. Hello. It's like, no.
But didn't we do that by buying all the other copies? Aren't we to blame?
Does it go that fast? Do we do this in real time? 3 people buy a thing and all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to make money.
Well, 3 people buy a thing, and if it's like 80% of the inventory out there.
Oh, okay.
my
Well, I
God,
guess the
you're
folks
right.
at home won't be buying it. Yeah, that was it.
You're right, because even the copy I couldn't get from Amazon of Valley Girl was only $2.99, and now that I have that is the cheapest copy they had, gone forever. Now you have to pay $39.
Oh, shit.
So
Once in a blue moon, you can
yeah.
wait on a thing and have it improve.
You're welcome.
Well, if we are responsible, and it seems we are responsible, then I would like to apologize right now for that.
I'd like to apologize for my brother at this moment.
I would like to apologize
Oh.
to everyone except you.
Apparently, the one I have coming in the mail is Region 2, so I probably can't watch it anyway.
Oh, you got to come over and watch it on my Region 2 player.
Yeah, because I'll be watching this again real soon.
I would like to apologize for my sister exploiting her privilege.
What? I'm privileged because I have a regional player? Like,
So, what do we have to promote?
hey, you guys.
Amazon, if I really wanted to, on Amazon, I could pay $454 for The Boy in Blue.
Oh, please don't.
I don't think anybody's going to be buying from that seller, though, since it's
It
much,
could be
much
Nick
less for
Cage, and
everybody
he'll
else.
come over to your house and watch it with you.
I'd buy it.
He'll show it to you in his haunted house.
Yes, my spooky mansion.
Yeah, like the Laurie house. So I guess that was...
His nickname is the Blue Flash, since it's blue, except for the red underpants and cape.
Now
I would watch
suppose.
this with Zach Baggins and Nick Cage.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Baggins is.
Well,
So you were saying,
so I guess this is the time to say, please listen, follow, rate, and review Cage's Kiss on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, Stitcher, and Spotify. We're just starting out. We can really use your help.
And you're foolish for us.
You know it. Remember, you can find
Yes.
Cage's Kiss on Facebook and on Twitter at Cage's Kiss. You can visit our website at cageskiss.com, and you can write us at cageskiss@gmail.com.
And you can find us online in various places.
Various places. Sometimes you can
Low
find us
places.
outside your door.
questionable
The
places.
podcast is coming from inside your house.
Spooky.
And I'm still Leo the Fox on DeviantArt.com. If you tune in on there, you can see the various mazes I've been doing recently, if you're into that.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter under my new handle, The Boy Who Blew. Otherwise, you know how to get a hold of me. And please don't contact anyone with the Twitter handle, The Boy Who Blew. I don't think that will work out well for you in the end.
Or it might.
Is Andrew
Oh,
Dice
good.
Clay listening?
Don't judge the boy who blew. It might end up in a very lovely evening. But we'll be seeing you guys
Oh,
next
aren't you?
week
It's gonna
with
be.
Peggy Sue Got Married. Thank you, Chuds. Hope to see you next week. And suck it, Sinner.
Suck it, sinners, and keep that ass greased.
This will be your greasy Cage kiss off.
God damn.
Ew.
Oh my god.
All right.
Cage, 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 peach. I could eat a peach frog.